सर आपकी आवाज नहीं आई।
Hello. Children, are you getting my sound?
यस सर।
Am I audible to you, children?
यस सर।
Hello. Hello. Tell me, are you able to listen to me?
यस सर।
Yes. So, see, some of the questions I have noted down for a specific discussion on today. See, how did Fran's feeling about Mr. Hamel change? Who was Franz? Who was Franz? Franz was one of the important characters, though there are several characters, but the two most important characters, M. Hamel and his student Frank. So, in order to understand this, you need to understand what was the earlier feeling of Frank about Mr. Hamel. Understand? As you know, Mr. Hamel was a very serious kind of teacher, very strict disciplinarian. He wanted the students to come to the class in time. He was also seriously discharging his duty, teaching mother tongue French. And what was Fran's character? Before coming to this outcome, you must know the characters of both M. Hamel and Frank. On one hand, M. Hamel was very strict, very punctual, very serious, beautiful. On the other hand, Frank was very casual. He was not studious, always engaged himself in mundane activities. Sometimes he would go to school, sometimes he didn't. And he never paid any attention towards learning his mother tongue French seriously. But during the last lesson, his opinion about his teacher M. Hamel changed. How? What made him change his attitude and opinion about the teacher? This is the question. Children, if you are able to listen to me, please interact. Whenever I ask something, you must respond. Yes, his opinion towards M. Hamel changed in the last lesson. Why? In order to understand this, you need to go to the background. What happened in the last class? On that very morning, Frank was not in a mood to go to school. He wanted to keep himself outdoor, engage himself in playing. But anyhow, he managed to reach the school, but he was late. He very well knew that he was going to school late. That's why he was apprehensive that he must be chided by M. Hamel. Understand? He knew, very well knew, that he is a strict teacher, he must chide him. He must rebuke him for his late coming. But his apprehension turned into surprise when he was gently treated by M. Hamel. He was softly treated by his teacher, which he could not expect. He had not expected a very gentle treatment from his teacher, and he came to know that his teacher was teaching him for last time. It was the last lesson. It was the last day of his teacher in the school. That's why he became serious. He was also remorseful, and he wanted to learn the things with the best of his capacity, but it was the last lesson. How could one learn everything in one class? So his attitude towards teacher, that he was a very serious person, he was a very harsh person, he was a very strict and hard taskmaster, it changed. He could understand whatever his teacher was doing for his sake, for the sake of the children. So the grudge against the teacher in his heart was gone. The very ill will against the teacher was gone. Because children, you know, teacher is the only person after your parents who wants who wishes for your well-being. Teacher is such a person who doesn't expect anything from the student other than his development, his progress, his well-being. He may seem to be harsh sometimes. He or she may seem to be very strict, and sometimes the words of your teachers may pinch you, but it is for your sake. As sometimes certain medicines are very bitter, but the efficacy of that very medicine is good for health. Similar is the case with teacher. As the bitter medicine cures your disease, in the same way, sometimes the harsh words of your teacher is always for your betterment. Similar was the case with Franz and M. Hamel. M. Hamel always wanted well-being for his students, and Franz was not an exception. On the very last day, the harshness and bitterness of the teacher was gone because he was very emotional. If you go through the text, you may find that he was trying to pour everything he knew, as if he wanted to teach everything he knew so that the student could learn maximum, because from tomorrow he was not going to continue as a teacher teaching the mother tongue. So his attitude towards his feeling about M. Hamel changed as he noticed that this last class was Hamel's last day in the school. He won't be able to learn his mother tongue. He will be deprived of learning his mother tongue. And for that teacher who had been serving in the school for as long as 40 years. So I hope this is clear. Next, the people in the story, the last lesson, suddenly realize how precious their mother tongue is. What shows you this? Children, you must see the word. The people, who are the people? The people refers to whom? This term people refers to whom in the story? People including students and the elderly villagers who were sitting in the last class of Mr. Hamel. So, students as well as the villagers. So, the term people refers both students as well as the elderly villagers who were also sitting there. The reason of their presence in the class, you know. What was the reason? Their presence was to show respect and gratitude towards his teacher for his long services he rendered for them, teaching mother tongue in the school. So the people in the story, the last lesson, suddenly realized how precious their mother tongue is. What shows it is? What to talk about the students? Even the people, the common people could realize the importance of mother tongue. Many times I have discussed that mother tongue is as precious, as important as our mother, because this is the most powerful way of our communication. Because our best feelings are always expressed in our mother tongue, you know. Everybody is agreed? Any language you learn, it's okay. It is a very nice thing to learn as many languages as you can. But so far as mother tongue is concerned, this is the best because it comes from our heart. The second language or any other language comes from your mind, but the mother tongue comes from the heart. And this was the key point Mr. Hamel was trying to explain to the people sitting in the class while he was taking the last lesson. His entire focus was to make them realize, to make them understand, to make them feel the preciousness of the mother tongue, the importance of mother tongue. So mother tongue is the best, most precious thing in our life, and that's why in the next question it will be explained. If you go through the text, you may find that every effort of M. Hamel, all the points and counterpoints he was trying to explain, every logic he was giving in the classroom, the entire thing was circling around the understanding of the mother tongue and making the realization to the people about the importance of mother tongue. So this importance was maximized, was well understood by the people when they all attended the last lesson by M. Hamel. So when a people, again next question, when a people is enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had, what is missing? They had key to their prison. Explain. This statement was given by M. Hamel, a very powerful statement given by M. Hamel during his teaching in the last lesson. But before that, I must focus on this term, a people. See the word, a people. The word people is itself plural, but still a is used. You may say that, sir, this is grammatically wrong. No. People refers to common people and people also refers to country. Do you know? Our late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi had also written a book, Peoples and Problems. So a people refers to country also. So this is right one. It's not wrong. When a people, a country is enslaved means if a country is subjugated, overpowered by any other country, as long as they hold fast to their language, as if they had the key to their prison. The moment a country becomes slave, they are helpless, people are helpless, you know, because all the rules and regulations were imposed or thrust upon by the rulers. But even in that condition, you know, when India was enslaved by the Britishers, we were dependent They're not independent, not free. Whatever the Britishers wanted, we had to act accordingly. Before 1947, India was also enslaved by Britishers, and Indians had to obey all the rules and regulations, laws, everything. But M. Hamel tried to explain the same thing in the class while he was teaching the last lesson, that if a country is enslaved, but if the people of the country hold fast to their language, means they have a hold on their language, means they have the power of communication to their language, they learn their language, they write their language, they speak their language, means they keep their language alive, then one possibility, one ray of hope is there. What is the hope? As if they had key to their prison. Means holding fast to the language by the people enslaved had a key, means they must have the power to become free anyway. What is the specific meaning? What is the meaning underneath? That is, it means if they had control over the language, they must organize themselves, they must communicate themselves, and there is a possibility then they can get back their freedom. That's why. So a very powerful expression. This is a very universal expression. Though it is spoken by the writer through the character M. Hamel, but this is true for everyone. There is a universal appeal in this expression. It is correct for all the countries, for all the people, for all times, everywhere. So holding fast to the language may enable us to get back our freedom, because we can have communication. In the moment the hold is gone, no chance. So through this expression, Mr. Hamel had tried to give a great message to the students as well as the people sitting in the classroom. Now, it is impossible to carry pride in one's language too far. Do you know what linguistic chauvinism means? This question was also asked in CBSE examination notes. What do you mean by linguistic chauvinism? Linguistic chauvinism. Everyone should be proud of one's own language, okay? Of course, the Britishers should be proud of their language. We Indians should be proud of our mother tongue. Every country and every person. But to have a kind of feeling that our language is the best, this is called the sense of pride regarding superiority of one's own language. This is called linguistic chauvinism. Of course, every language is respectable. We need to learn every language if we feel like. But to have this pride that our language is the best, this is called. Understand? So, and this linguistic chauvinism, where do you find the example? In the story? Hello? Where do you find this example in the story? When M. Hamel says that this is the most beautiful language, the best language of the world, the most logical, at that place, the pride, the swagger about one's own language was reflected there. And that is the element of linguistic chauvinism in that story. When M. Hamel was explaining there. Children, I give you one example. in India, now it has become common. Some years before, even today, person knowing English, speaking and writing English are given a lot of importance, particularly in India. Parents also like to get their sons and daughters educated in English medium school, understand? So the importance of English. So sometimes they are proud of that my children are well spoken, they know English, understand English, they communicate English, it's okay. Similar was the case with the Britishers once. There also French was Latin and French were given more importance than English. What was condition of English in India? Similar was the condition of French in Britain. People speaking French and Latin, if you go through the literature by William Shakespeare, you find heavily Latinized language, means profuse number of English words, French and Latin words are used in English, in Old English, the creations of literary pieces you may find. And people would take pride speaking French in England. That was the condition. But people would take pride speaking English in India. But there was a scholar, I just forget the name, that scholar was there, who in order to establish the importance of his mother tongue English in Britain, England, he gave a slogan. What was the slogan? The slogan was, I love French, but I respect English. See the word. He used two words, love and respect. The word respect for the language, love for language, it's okay, very good, but respect for language. And that created a magical effect in the country. People started giving importance to their own mother tongue English, and gradually English was established, given much more importance than any other language there. Understand? So, mother tongue is the best, of course, but to feel that this is the best in the entire world, this notion is not positive. And if a person is suffering from this notion, that is called, the person is following linguistic dualism, which is a little bit reflected in the story, the last lesson. That's why the question is there. It is impossible to carry pride in one's language too far. Do you know what linguistic dualism means? Of course, linguistic dualism means to give much more importance in respect to others with a feeling that this is the best, this is the only best language in the world. This is called linguistic dualism. Understand? So, what changes did the order from Berlin cause in the school that day? What changes? Before coming to the question, we must go to the background to make it clear, and then we will come back to the question. Order from Berlin. What did it change? Yes, can you tell me? What was the order from Berlin? Why did it come? In what way? What was the impact? Yes? You know, it was the World War situation. And France was overpowered by Germany, And what happened? After overpowering France, what did they do? Or what generally happens? In my introductory speech, you might have heard, and if you remember, that any country overpowers any other country or enslaves any country, subjugates any country, the first thing what is done, that is to impose their own language. When the Britishers came to India, they also imposed their language. English was one of the compulsory subjects in the schools, you know. So, what was the purpose behind it? Why did they do so? For a better communication. The rulers, for their smooth administration, for a better administration, they impose their own language. This is the basic thing for the overpowering country or the ruling country, you know. The first thing the rulers do, they impose their own language. The purpose behind it, if more and more people learn the same language, the task of administration will become, the process of administration will become very smooth for them, and it will be easier for them to rule over the country with ease and comfort. So, whenever France was overpowered by, enslaved by Germany, the order was sent to everywhere and particularly to that school of Alsace and Lorraine in France, and particularly to that school where M. Hamel was teaching, that from tomorrow no French. Their mother tongue French will be replaced by German language. Understand? That's why Mr. Hamel was teaching the last lesson, convincing their students that this was the last class. From tomorrow, students will be imposed, will be forced to learn French, because the order from Berlin had come to that school. So what did it change? This is, understand the background. What was the order? What was the purpose? That what changes did the order from Berlin cause in the school that day? What caused? What was the impact of that order? Yes, anybody? Any points? What changes did it bring in the school? What? Try to understand in this way. What changes do you notice in the school, particularly during the last lesson, last class of M. Hamel? Was it usual class? No, because apart from students, villagers were also sitting there. Mr. Hamel was in the best of his dress, was taking his class. People were emotional. Mr. Hamel also got emotional. His throat was choked. He was not, towards the end of the class, he was not in a condition to speak out. These were the changes. So point wise you need to write those things. Because from tomorrow, the students were going to be forced not to learn French, rather they will be forced to learn German. That's why this was the question is asked, change. Change in the attitude of the student friend was never serious, who was remorseful, had a lot of repentance. Why did he neglect the class of Mr. Hamel? Didn't pay any attention towards learning his mother tongue, that is the most beautiful language. These are the changes. Change number one. The student who was never serious towards the class, suddenly he would realize his mistakes and he was remorseful, and repentance was there. Second, apart from the regular students, villagers were also present there. Mr. Hamel was teaching the class with all seriousness, in the best of his dress, and towards the end of the class he was emotional. So these are the changes. That is the question asked. What changes did the order from Berlin cause in the school that day? Okay, so these were the impacts. But last but not least, what was the very purpose of it? Do you find any didactic lesson, any moral lesson in the story, the last lesson? What was the purpose of the story? The sole purpose which Mr. Hamel was trying to make their students realize, the same purpose is there for all of us through the story. What was the purpose for the teacher, for the students in that particular class? The same purpose is there for all of us through this story. That we also should give more importance to our language, our mother tongue, because our mother tongue is the best for us. That is it. So the mother tongue for everybody is the best, and one should pay more attention. One should learn it seriously. One should be very serious in learning about that, and one should have high sense of respect and love towards our mother tongue. This is the message, the story. And one more question, which is generally asked, is justify the title, the last lesson. 1 minute. Yes, justify the title, the last lesson. Yes. In what way is this story appropriate? In what way is this story befitting? Does it have proper correspondence to the thematic content of the story? Does it have? Okay, tell me. Of course, when you are supposed to write the answer, you say all these happenings, all the logics given by the teacher, everything circles around the last lesson. The teaching of Mr. Hamel, his importance towards, because Mr. Hamel was teaching the class for the last time. That's why last lesson. His students were also attending their mother tongue, their class. Students were also attending the class based on the mother tongue for the last time. This was the last lesson. Villagers were also having Mr. Hamel among themselves for the last time. This was the last stay of Mr. Hamel on that very day. That was the last. So all the happenings of the story circle around the same theme, the last lesson. That's why the story, the title is justified, the last lesson. Understand? So if you need to write the answer, you need to mention the things. If you write it point wise, it is also very nice. It will create a very nice impact. Understand? 4 or 5 points you write regarding this point wise, your answer will be a very nice one. So children, anything you need to ask? So the discussion on this chapter, the last lesson, also last, though it is the last lesson, it is the first lesson of your book. And this is the last revision class, particularly for the last lesson. Last revision class for the last lesson. Anything you need to ask? Anything? Any query? If you like, you can ask. So the story is finished. I tried my level best to explain each and every intricate aspect of this story, all the important questions important from both point of view, and this is all about from my side. Still some of the students want anything from me, I am here to help you. Nothing? Then it's okay, time has almost gone.